Okay, I'm David Laurie VanDerBeek, the next governor of Nevada, and we're talking about Benghazi here. So this is crucial. This is the nail in the coffin. This is the hardcore evidence uh, from a sitting representative in Congress that Obama must be impeached and that he did give the stand down order. And this is exactly the woman who would know. This is Ann Wagner. Okay. This is her interview. This is her Wikipedia page. She's a congresswoman from the state of Missouri, currently in Congress, and she's a former U.S. ambassador to Luxembourg 2005 to 2009. So she knows exactly what she's talking about as a former U.S. ambassador. I want that to really sink in. Now, to get to this interview where she states firmly that Obama gave the stand-down order on Benghazi, you have to search the Dana Show. Okay, it's right here, the Dana Show, and you just Google it, and it brings you to this page. Okay, now there's a couple problems that you're going to encounter in trying to get to the file. The first of all is the way that the archive is set up. The archive on this page is the functionality is piss poor, for lack of a better term, because when you try to get to it, it's you just can't land on it. It's underneath this one. It's on the same date. It was on May 8th. And so what you have to do is you have to use your tab function. And so if I hit this one,
FM News Time,
then I can start to tab down, and this is the download. This little arrow right here is how you download an episode. Tab twice and it goes to the next one. Tab twice and it goes to the next one. Tab twice and it goes to the next one. Tab twice and then hit enter, and then you can download the entire interview. It's 8 minutes and 36 seconds. So you save that to your desktop or whatever file you want to. That's how you get to this file. I mean, it's basically hidden, and I don't understand why, because it's a really important interview. Why would, yeah, I guess, I don't know. So anyway, when you open it up, you will see in your iTunes or whatever you use that it is 8 minutes and 36 seconds. I fast forwarded it for through the first 3 minutes so that we can get to the meat and potatoes, because in this part of the initial context is them talking about a mutual friend who passed away that was, it's talking politics. The other problem is that I tried to upload this today, and it was very frustrating. Very frustrating, because I was thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Because every single time that I try to put this MP3 file into Windows Movie Maker, the MP3 file, look at that. It comes up as 6 minutes and 5 seconds long. It's 8 minutes and 36 seconds. They cut off the last quarter. Someone has distorted, I don't know, someone has distorted the file so that when you try to reproduce it, it's like, I don't know, I haven't figured out how to make it work yet. And so I'll keep playing with it. But if I'm running into this, and I've done this, you know, hundreds and hundreds of times, I know how to take an MP3 file, drop it into Windows Movie Maker, and so when you play it here, it's 8 minutes and 36 seconds long. When you come over here, it's 6 minutes and 5 seconds long. And it's cut off the exact part that I'm trying to share. So, very frustrating. Not very, but it's just like, okay, so what's going on here? So I'm just thinking of a different way to get it out to the people so they know that absolutely with 100% confidence that people in our government know where the stand-down order came from, that a former ambassador knows where the stand-down order came from, and it came from Obama himself to stand down in Benghazi and to not help our Navy SEALs and to not help Ambassador Stevens, and they denied him, and Obama himself denied extra security to Ambassador Stevens. Set aside why. I don't know all the motives. We were talking about motives in other presentations, other interviews. But here we're just talking about the facts that he did order the stand down. So listen to this for the next 5 minutes.
The day, these Benghazi hearings, I know you've been following them. It is really disturbing to me. We learned that one of the witnesses / whistleblowers actually called then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton at 2:01 in the morning to brief her about what was happening in Benghazi, to tell her that 60 terrorists had walked onto U.S. soil on that consulate and were carrying out an attack. I'm trying to figure out, Representative, how it went from the Secretary of State being briefed that this was a terror attack. All of the deputy diplomats, everyone on the ground knew this was a terror attack right off. How it went from that to let's blame it on a YouTube video.
It's absolutely outrageous, and to listen to the deputy chief of mission Hicks give his testimony is amazing. And this is the crack we've been waiting for. I mean, it truly is. To think that that on August 16th, the Ambassador Stevens, asked for more security, and it was completely ignored. I'm a former United States ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
When I send a cable like that, imploring the State Department for more security for the American diplomats on the ground, it would never have been ignored. It's
Did you catch that? So has been an actual ambassador. If she's talking specifically to the point that he asked repeatedly for more security and he was ignored. That's Christopher Stevens was ignored. She was an ambassador. That needs to really sink into everybody.
Yet, at the same time, the president President Obama was out campaigning, talking about how Al-Qaeda was decimated, and in fact, it's not the case, and a clear dereliction of duty by the State Department, and to think that the Deputy Chief of Mission Hicks had to sit there and listen the next day to Secretary Rice, Susan Rice, talk about the fact that this was about a movie trailer and not a terrorist attack. He said he was just he was stunned and absolutely saddened beyond belief. And I want to know, Dana, what happened to those talking points? They never even spoke to the man on the ground, the Deputy Chief of Mission Hicks. They didn't even speak to him personally to find out what happened. This is it reeks from everything from dereliction of duty by the government and State Department to all-out cover-up, I believe.
One of your colleagues in Congress, William Lacey Clay, in questioning today, blamed security cuts and everything as to what happened with Benghazi, despite the fact that you had Charlene Lamb and Eric Boswell, who were with the State Department. They were responsible for the diplomat security. They since resigned over this, but weeks ago, when they testified, they said absolutely not. This was just incompetency. What do you make of Representative Clay basically using a debunked excuse as a way to get at Republicans, I guess, and try to shift blame here?
Well, it's wrong, and it shouldn't have happened. There's a lot of discretionary opportunity that any department or agency has when they're looking at the resources that they have and how to spend them. We've watched the politicization of the sequester by this administration, and certainly when it comes to the safety and security of our foreign diplomats, that comes first and should never be blamed on any kind of a budgetary item. There's just so much to be outraged. And to me, I think the saddest testimony that we heard today was that our special ops in Tripoli were on their way to a Libyan C-30 to load up and to go and to do something, and they were denied permission by AFRICOM. I mean, they watched this unfold and happen, and we'll continue to listen to the testimony and see what comes out, but as I said, everything from the cover-up and the days afterward to the lack of response on the ground to real people. I mean, this is, Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, the information officer, Tyron Woods, the former Navy SEAL, Glenn Darty. These are men who all had families. They're real people, and their government let them down. It's on all fronts. So I'm outraged. I'm outraged as an American, as a member of Congress, and certainly as someone that did stand as a chief of mission, as a U.S. ambassador.
And last quick question I have for you, Congresswoman, because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas in similar with similar responsibilities and similar missions. Who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
Okay, let me play it for you again. Listen to what she says because of your experience.
Congresswoman, because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas in similar with similar responsibilities and similar missions. Who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
Wow. Because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas in similar with similar responsibilities and similar missions. Who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
Wow.
One more time. He's got to be impeached, guys.
Quick question I have for you, Congresswoman. Because you have been an ambassador, you have been overseas in similar with similar responsibilities and similar missions. Who gives such an order to stand down? Where does that come from?
The President of the United States.
Wow. Wow. Well, I so appreciate you joining me this afternoon. Representative Ann Wagner, and thank you again for your kind words on our mutual friend on the floor. We appreciate it, and we're going to keep watching this.
Absolutely. You know, I was one of the first to sign on to in asking for a Benghazi Select Committee here, and I think it's about time that we do so.
Absolutely. Representative Ann Wagner, thanks as always. We'll talk to you again in the future. Take care.
Take care, Dave.
866-455-9797. Wow. Keep it right here, folks. More of the Dana Show in moments.
Okay. So this woman is obviously amazing, obviously 100% American, obviously courageous, obviously to be commended. This is an American hero right there. Ann Wagner telling you the truth, whether you like it or not, right? So you now know exactly how to get a copy of that interview and take it viral. I don't want to be the only one trying to do this. There's got to be smarter people than me. If you can figure out how to take this MP3 file and make it less corrupted so that it can go in properly into Windows Movie Maker, and then email me a copy of it to david@nevadagovernor2014.com, that would be great. But in the meantime, I'm just going to go with this using Screencast-O-Matic because it works out the same. You could hear it just fine. There is no other recourse for correction for this government than to impeach Obama. You cannot have a president who lets your warriors die. You cannot abandon troops. Troop abandonment is a theme that I've talked about over the past few years. Because we have Obama, who is a narcissistic, psychopathic pig in the White House, surrounded by like-minded individuals whose souls reek of stench. They are going to abandon our troops. They are going to use and abuse them, and they're going to kill people. Now, the motives and why Obama would play these games are irrelevant, actually, to a great degree, because the crime has been committed. He must be punished, regardless of whether or not we understand the psychopath in chief. It doesn't matter if whether or not he's a psychopath. It just doesn't matter. The fact is, this pig of a human being smiles and laughs, and he's cool with letting people die and abandoning them on the battlefield. That is your president. He's not my president. And we are under no obligation any longer to recognize anything he does as president. And we have to force him out of office. There is no other recourse at this point, and he cannot be the president of the United States any longer. That's just a given. I don't care, where we go from there, whatever. This individual can no longer serve in office.